Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel. If you don't know me, my name is Sarah and I'd like to welcome you to day 10 of the Crochet Christmas challenge. If you don't know what the Christmas challenge is, you can pop into that description where I explain it all in detail because nobody likes a long-winded intro. For day 10, we will be crocheting a shark. For reference, this is what the mini version looks like. This is the same pattern made in a size 4 yarn rather than a size 6 yarn. For today's tutorial, I will be working in size 6 yarn in this lovely grayish green color. It's Sweet Snuggles Light, for those of you who are wondering. See if I can find the tail. There we go. I will also be using some white yarn. I have a little bit left in my stash for the belly part. You could also make this in a solid color if you'd like. Along with that, you will need an eye color. I like to use dark gray on lighter pieces and black on darker pieces. And of course white on black pieces. You will also be needing a crochet hook. Whatever size yarn you use, you'll need your corresponding crochet hook. My rule of thumb is whatever size the yarn is, I'll use the same size crochet hook. For example, this is size 6 yarn, size 6 crochet hook. Same with size 4. And that's just my starting point. You can also change and tweak it depending on your tension and everything. Once you've experimented around a bit, you will also need a pair of scissors, a stitch marker, and a sewing needle. If you don't want to stitch the eyes on, you'll need a pair of safety eyes, which I'll let you guys figure out which size you want to use. And then on top of that, we will need some stuffing. This is a lot more than I need, but you will need some stuffing. For round 1, we will either make our magic ring or our chain 2 method. Whichever method you prefer, you can use. They're completely interchangeable, so it doesn't make any difference. I will be using the chain 2 method. For your first round, you will be single crocheting 6. And 6, there you are. For round 2, we will be increasing in each stitch around. I will be securing this tail now before moving forward. If any of you saw my last video, day 9 was the jellyfish tutorial, and I ended up snapping the yarn after I finished the entire body. So I'm going to secure the tail now. Just create an arch and pull tight. This is an optional step, but I really do prefer to do it because it means the piece will last longer. Your magic ring and your chain 2 method will always become looser with time, and this just prevents it from falling apart as quickly. Once you've secured that center tail, we can move on to round 3. We will place our stitch marker at the end of each round now and the following rounds. For this next round, we will increase into the next 2 stitches. So 1 increase and then a second increase. Once you have increased twice, we will be single crocheting in the next 3 stitches. So just a regular single crochet, 1, 2, and 3. Now in the next 4 crochet stitches, we will be increasing. So increase 4 times in a row. Now at this point you should have 3 single crochet stitches remaining, which is we will just single crochet in. So single crochet 3. And that is the end of round 3. You should have 18 stitches at this point, or 6 increases if that's the way you count. Replace your stitch marker at the end of your round. Now for round 4, we will be single crocheting into the next stitch, and then we will increase twice. Increase in the next 2 stitches. Then we will single crochet 5. And by 5, I mean 6, because my pattern has a mistake in it. We will be single crocheting 6, not 5. Into the next 4 stitches, we will increase. Once you've finished increasing, we will single crochet into the final 5 stitches. Now at this point, we will single crochet all the way around for 3 rounds. I'm going to fix my pattern real quick while you guys start on your single crochet rounds. Once you've finished your 3 single crochet rounds, we will begin working on all of our fins and the tail and everything else. So the way we do this is by single crocheting into the next 3 stitches. So single crochet 3. To create the tail, which is where we're starting, we will chain 6. We will skip that first chain and then slip stitch into the next chain. We will then single crochet 2. Looks like I might have made a mistake. Let me go back and fix it real quick. Yep, I skipped 2 chains instead of just the 1. So I'm gonna fix that real quick. Only skip the first chain. Slip stitch, single crochet 2, just like I said earlier. And then in the next chain, we will slip stitch. And that is the first part of the tail. Now we will make the second side. We will chain 4, skip that first chain and slip stitch into the next chain. Single crochet into the next 2 chains like so, and then slip stitch into that same slip stitch as before, just like that. And now we will slip stitch in that final chain. There we are. So now we're going to do a little trick, because if we leave it like this, our tail will lay flat like a whale, and we want to flip this way. So the way we're going to do this is we're actually going to go around our yarn, around the back side, and into that previous single crochet. Let me show you that from a different angle. So going around the yarn and through the front of the previous single crochet, we will slip stitch. So just pull right through all those loops, and this will tilt the tail to face straight up and down. Now, when we come back around, we will be single crocheting into that single crochet where we put the slip stitch, so keep that in mind when we get to that point. I will be showing you how to do it, but just in case, I'm letting you know now, we will be working in that stitch again. Now, working from the front, we will grab that front post of the single crochet in the next stitch and single crochet through those and then finish it. And this will prevent a hole from forming here. Let's see, yep, there is a hole here from where we single crocheted regularly, which is why I use this trick from now on to close up that hole. Now there is no hole here. Now we have single crocheted once. Now we will single crochet 2 more times into the next 2 stitches, just like that. Now we will chain 2 and single crochet in that second chain from hook, just like that. Grabbing that front post of the single crochet just like before, and the next stitch, single crochet through both of those. Like I said, this covers up that hole, so now you don't have a hole here. If you're working with smaller yarn, it's not as noticeable. This is without the trick, so you don't need to do the trick for smaller yarn, especially yarn that you can't really see the stitches. It's not a big deal. Now for the, let's see, now we will single crochet 3. So we'll single crochet 2 more times. With this stitch, that'll be 3 total. Now we'll work on our fin, where we will chain 4, just like so. Skip that first chain and slip stitch, and then single crochet, and then half double crochet in that last chain. There's our first fin. Now we will, using our trick, grab that front of the single crochet and single crochet through like so. Now we will single crochet in the next 11 stitches. If you count this single crochet, it will be 12 total. We should have 3 stitches remaining in our round by the time we come around. We'll work on our second fin now, and we'll do this by chaining 4, slip stitching into the second chain from hook, single crochet, and then half double crochet. Using our trick, finish that single crochet and single crochet 2 more times. Before we finish this round, we will create our little, I'm not quite sure what it's called. I guess I should have looked it up before filming this. But chain 2 and then single crochet in the second chain from hook. Now what we have to do is fasten off to change your color. So the way we're going to do this is we're actually going to just do 1 single crochet into the next round to complete this round. You should be 1 stitch over at this point. Now in the next stitch, we will slip stitch, chain 1, and fasten off. Just like so. There we have the start of our shark. And you could also use this pattern to make an orca, which would be really cute. It's not something I can make on camera though, since it would be made with black yarn. That would be quite difficult to see. Since I have already secured this tail, all we have to do before moving on is sew the eyes on and crochet the top fin. I like to do it at this point so that all we have to do, so we don't have to tuck these ends in later. So create a slip knot onto your hook with your working color. And we're gonna pick a side, doesn't matter which side, and fold the piece in half, with the tail straight out on one side and the fins together like so. Now, working through the first round, we're going to insert our hook straight through the middle. That is the first round here. We're just going to go completely through, and we are going to single crochet through. Now at this point, we will chain 2, single crochet in the second chain from hook, and then going back into the same space. I'm going to go slightly ahead of it so that it's not tilted like so. So it's nice and straight across. Chain 1 and fasten off. And this is the top fin. Using your crochet hook, you can just pull these tails through into the inside of the body. Let me show you a trick as well. If you prefer a cleaner look, you can thread these tails, go through the next stitch, and then back through the center of your previous stitch, and then straight into the body. This will give you like a V look rather than a sometimes wonky look, depending on where you pull it in with your crochet hook. And just repeat this on the other side. Go through like so, and then through that center stitch to create a bit of a V, like a faux stitch. There you have your top fin. And now we will tie these 2 tails together, just like so. Now you have your top fin complete. If you want, you can do this once the piece is stuffed, but I like to do it now just to get it out of the way, and so I don't have to tuck in any tails later on. Now at this point, you can stuff, actually, sorry, we need to sew the eyes on before moving forward. If you're using safety eyes, now would be the time to put them on as well. I'm going to be using this dark gray yarn. And right across the fin, come up through, leaving a short tail, and then stitch the eye on. You could stitch this eye on 3 or 4 times, or even more if you prefer a bigger eye. There we go. I did it 5 times for this piece. Now taking your tail, run it across to the other side in that stitch that's just directly across from the fin. Make sure not to pull this tight, and then stitch the eye on just the same as before. I like to stitch the eye on while holding the end in the back so I don't pull it too tight on accident. Make sure to keep the eyes pretty similarly sized. Once you have stitched the eyes on, just tie your 2 tails together and make sure not to tie them too tightly because you don't want to make the doll misshapen. When you stuff your piece, what you can do is stuff under first and then over. So keep that in mind when you stuff your piece. That way you don't accidentally pull the eyes in and shrink them. Now, working with our white yarn, we will begin our stomach. Just create a slip knot onto your hook, and we're going to be joining it where we left off. So starting with that single crochet where we came over on the previous round, we will insert our hook through the back loop. This entire row will be worked back loop only. and we'll decrease through the next stitch, like so. If it's too difficult to back loop invisible decrease, just use a regular decrease. Now at this point you'll have this single crochet that we slip stitched into. Do not skip this one over. If you can't work through, depending on how small or tight your yarn is, if you can't work through that back loop, just go ahead and single crochet through it regularly. It's not going to make a big deal. Now, crossing over the tail, single crochet into the next stitch. Now we will decrease and single crochet to all the way around for a total of 6 times. If you end up with an extra stitch or a drop stitch, you can just go ahead and continue. Since we are just doing decreases, it's not a big deal if you lose a stitch or two. No one will notice. I doubt even you will notice, so keep that in mind when working. Once you come all the way around, we can begin our second decrease round, where we will just be decreasing and then single crocheting into the next stitch. If you have a gap like I do, don't worry about it. We'll sew that closed in just a minute. Once you come all the way around, go ahead and pause the crocheting. We have 1 round left. What we're going to do is secure both our tails and quickly close up this hole if you have one. Thread that loose end you have from when you changed color. Just go through any of the stitches and then back in again. And that should be enough to close it. Now taking our color change, both tails, we will tie these two together and secure them both. Now at this point you can stuff your shark. And there we are. We just have 1 more round to go and then we will be complete and finished with our little shark. For the final round, we will just be decreasing in each stitch around, so for a total of 6 decreases. Once you finish that round, just go ahead and slip stitch, chain 1, and fasten off with about a medium length tail, just because we'll be closing up this hole. If you need to stuff your piece anymore, do it now, because we will be closing up the hole. You just give it a good squish and see if it needs any more. Mine is good. Collect all the front loops of your remaining 6 stitches and pull tight. Not too tight though, you don't want to snap your yarn. I gotta say, I don't know about you guys, but I prefer if I'm going to snap my yarn on accident. If it's going to happen, I prefer it to happen on the bottom than the top. So the end rather than the beginning. I would prefer it not to happen at all, but if it does happen, because at least on the bottom you can go back and just pull it out and join the tail on to finish that last round again. But when you snap your magic ring or your chain 2 tail, then you just have no choice but to restart. I forgot to mention, when you're done weaving the tail, I do this back, forth, and then back one more time, so 3 times total. Trim that tail, and now your shark is complete. I really hope that you enjoyed this tutorial. If you did, make sure to leave a like and comment down below if you completed your very own shark. Let me know if there's anything I can do to improve these tutorials. I will always accept your criticism, and I really do appreciate it because it makes me a better person and it makes it easier for other people to follow along. There we are, aren't they adorable? I really hope that you enjoyed this tutorial. Like I said, if you completed this, I'd love to know what color or size yarn you worked in. You can leave that down below in the comments. I've had some people work with glow-in-the-dark yarn, like I said in my last video. And it's really cool to get ideas from all of you on what yarn types you're using. Thanks for joining me on day 10 of the Crochet Christmas Challenge. I hope you join me on day 11, which is super cute as always. If you're not here for the Christmas Challenge, thanks for crocheting along, and I hope to see you in the next tutorial. Bye!